Was Raoul's Rose Garden open then, was it?
That was my first.
We all know the Rose Garden.
Yeah, that was my first.
Run ashore.
Run ashore with the ladies.
There you go. Right, leave it there. Leave Raoul's alone. Right. What was your first tour?
Mum met a Scotsman.
Okay.
Who came in and moved in, kind of thing, with a couple of his children. And that was when my life kind of changed.
For the better or the worse?
For the worse, because he was a rough alcoholic bully.
That's the right person to be a stepchild to, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think he acknowledged my ethnicity, thinking about it, because
so there was probably a little bit of tension there because he didn't
he didn't really want that. He wanted mum for mum, but we had to be pushed to the side, kind of thing. And his children were kind of like that as well at the time. So I was getting battered constantly.
Do you get on with them now?
No, he did pass. But,
no, do you get on with them, the children?
No, I've never.
Really?
Never. Well,
so
I'll get to that.
Go on, yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here.
So he'd come back every night, completely drunk, and if we're in the way, he'd start throwing us around.
Really?
And then he'd sleep on the settee, and then we'd kind of sit near him, right, trying to watch the TV, and then he'd go up and have a swamp on the side of the wall. That was normal every night.
Really?
And it was normal.
As a kid, you must be like looking at that going, wow, that's...
And, and I really, really hated it because I could see Mum getting battered a lot as well, more than us. Yeah. And he was a golfer, and I got that upset about it, and I wouldn't ever have done it because I didn't have the balls to. Yeah. And I had a club in my hand in front of him one night on the set, and I thought I really wanted to do this, but I just didn't have the balls. And
I had a similar thing. I picked up a knife behind my adopted old man's back, and I didn't have the nuts to stick it in him. Like, do you know what I mean? I really wanted to. I was wild with it. Like, do you know what I mean? I was sort of like, what if he gets it off me?
Yeah,
then I'm in a world of it myself.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, what a horrible experience. That's really poor.
Just before my 16th birthday, coming up to the end, I applied for the Navy then, and I thought I wanted to be the first person to get in. So I went to Lincoln, the careers office, and he says, come back in 6 months. And he didn't actually give me a reason. So I was like, I obviously completely gutted because I've got to go back home now.
Yeah.
But on the way out, I saw the Royal Marine thing and was like, what? I thought I wouldn't mind having a look at that. I didn't do anything. I just went away and got a job as I worked in a foundry because the area I live is full of steel, etc. And what I did then is I'm going to go for the Marines. A couple of my mates had just joined. I didn't know anything about it. I know it'd be a lot harder, and I knew that my fitness, I was good at my fitness, so I thought everything else would roll into it. But at that time, when I did go back to Lincoln as a potential Royal Marine candidate. I went to Lympstone to do the PRC, passed that superior fitness, but then when I tried to join, my mum, from each people she met, changed my name, but not legally.
Right, okay.
So I couldn't. I had to prove who I was. Yeah. So I had to go through all the processes of, well, I was called this, I was called this, I was called this, but it wasn't all real. So that took a good year to go through the solicitors and prove.
Did you have a passport on that though? Did you?
I never went. I'd never been abroad.
You had nothing.
Nothing.
You had no paperwork to back yourself
up. I didn't know who I was. There was no. There was nothing for me. So I had to prove it all.
Later on, that might come in quite handy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I could be do anything.
That's it. Yeah. So you eventually get the paperwork sorted out, and you go and off to Lympstone.
I went off to Lympstone, completely not really knowing what I was going to get into, but I knew I didn't want to go home, and that was the main effort. I didn't want to stay in the area I was with. I could easily have been influenced of going down the routes of doing badness or getting into trouble and things like that. And I think I would have been good at that.
No, I'm exactly the same as that. Exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? And actually, I felt safe. Once I drove into the army, I thought no one can get me in here either. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I went through those gates and I'm like, get me in here. Do you know what I mean?
And you feel protected then as well.
Do,
and that's what I think I needed because no one ever protected me either because I went through all them stages. And I never had a figure. So my figure was the tribe at the cadets kind of thing. That's because I didn't have it at home.
Yeah. No, that's. I think a lot of people feel like that. I've interviewed quite a few people now, and that thing that the forces give you is almost it is family, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's people sort of like, no, but it is.
No.
It actually is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people that end up on that side of the wire are there because they're trying to get away from there.
Yeah, you're running away.
Yeah.
And it was at that stage that there was the option of the French Volonté. People was legging it to do that as well. So if you didn't ever get in wherever you wanted to, there was always that door.
You didn't need a name there either.
No, exactly.
They'll give you one.
Yeah, I knew everything, identity.
How old were you when you finally got into the Marines?
I was 19.
Okay, and how did you find training?
Horrendous.
Yeah.
The physical stuff was fine. I was passing out everything fitness, but it was the understanding of what I was required to do. The drills, the this, that, and that.
Yeah.
It was all new to me because I never even practiced it. I'm not saying you need to go into that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a fast learner.
Right, okay, so...
And it was my fault.
Couple of taps on you.
Yeah, I had a few more beastings, which made me fitter, which was good.
Mate, some of my happiest times were at the guard room, mate.
and I'm on the bottom field getting thrashed a bit too much. But I actually enjoyed getting caked in the mud and crap from being beasted. For some reason, I like going back and cleaning everything up, and I felt kind of proud I was doing it all and putting it back in my locker and all that. Most people hated that part, but I actually enjoyed that bit. And I think it's because I got my own possessions. I never had possessions either.
No.
So that locker everything in that locker was mine, so I should look after it.
Yeah. I totally get that as well. You got through your training. Any bits stand out in your training as being your sort of like favourite parts?
Not really. It was just a mumble. At weekends, you all get the opportunity to obviously ring home. There was I can only remember one phone box, and a few times I tried to ring home and I never got anything. So that was a bit of a kick in the balls. I always remember that. And there was points where there's no point in trying to ring up anymore because there's no one at the end.
Yeah.
So people during their training had opportunities to get things off the chest or, speak to someone who actually loves them and wants them to progress, where I'm not been doing the flute or anything.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think all that process later on, kind of, if you can turn that round for your gain and your knowledge of that, I personally think it makes you a better person.
It's a positive from a negative, mate. Did anybody come to your passing out parade? Were you one of these who sort of like...
Well...
At the end of it, you're like that, because I was like that.
Yeah. So my parents never turned up.
Okay.
But a couple of my friends did, which was very humbling. That
Yeah.
somebody was in the audience, and then they came. I went back home with them for the weekend. But yeah, my parents didn't, and he was drunk, so it never.
Did it bother him? Did you tell him I'm now a Marine, or was he not even sort of like?
A couple of years later, I came home and he was battering, and I grabbed him and kind of strangled him and told him to wind it. Even though I probably thought he could have battered me again. Yeah. But he didn't, and he kind of let me do it. I don't know if he let me do it, but he didn't put up anything. Well,
there must have been a reluctance there, do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? He now, to his own mind, he might not have... What are you capable of now? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He knows what he's capable of, but what are you capable of? And he doesn't know that, does he? Do you know what I mean? So, it's still not a nice thing to do, though, is it?
To join mortars, it's the senior troop.
Yeah.
And they don't like new boys. It was horrible. And,
what do they call you in the Marines? A nod, isn't it? Is it a nod?
Well, a nod in training, but it's a sprog.
A sprog.
I'm the duty sprog. And
you are the duty sprog.
I'm the duty sprog. And everyone had been in
every
loads.
duty's yours.
Yeah, and I'm just the flipping, the runner, everything. I'm buying. I'm off to the naffy for who wants what, do you know what I mean? But I didn't... I was looked after, though, because they was the most senior troop. Once they let me in, it was beneficial because all the rest of the camp would kind of leave me alone then. So I was allowed to be myself. And I was a bit worried coming in, a bit ethnic. Yeah. And it was fine.
Did you ever experience any? Have you ever? Because I don't see the after-sits in it at all. Have you ever had any of that sort of bullying in your life? Have you ever sort of like felt the heat of racism?
I did later on, which I can get to.
Yeah.
But not really. When you're in training, it's if it happened, I think it happened because everyone gets shit, and if he says the wrong thing to me, that's that's by the by.
Yeah,
And I don't think it's personal. I think it's just him and a range that I've fucked up. And he's going to try and belittle me. And
of course, I get that.
It's nothing. I wouldn't say it was something that was there.
Yeah. First, you're in Mortals Platoon.
Yeah.
What was your first operational tour?
So,
what year was that?
That was 92. I joined Mortars.
Okay.
Went straight out to mountain training with the mortar, part of the bipod at the time.
Because that is a lump as well,
isn't it? Frigging, I'm this big. And
lump,
it was hanging off everywhere. I didn't know what I was doing. But that was when I started enjoying being in the mountains. And that was my foot straight in there. And it was hard work, of course. But that's...
Is that the first time you see MLs in action, was it?
Yeah. And I looked up to him. That this is amazing. And I felt at peace, I don't know if it's the right word, when I was in the hills, and it was just a safe place.
Yeah.
And then the next following January, I went straight to Norway, which was amazing because I'd never been abroad. I was on a plane, and it was a complete new environment, and it was tough.
Yeah. Norway can be tough. It's cold. It's hilly.
And that year, because we had these cookers, we put the naphtha in, and obviously you're cooking in the tent. I think there was about 5 fatalities that year, all in, either in BVs where they didn't open the ventilation, or the tents that they didn't open the zip when they're cooking. So
wow, so literally,
yes, there was gone. I remember one day it was -30, so we all stayed in that camp, and that was the day that whoever they were, the tent didn't wake up. So because there was just making the foods and not.
That's pretty tough. Was Raoul's Rose Garden open then, was it?
That was my first. My first.
We all know the Rose Garden.
Yeah, that was my first.
Run ashore.
Run ashore with the ladies.
There you go. Right, leave it there. Right, park that one up. I just wanted to know if you knew it.
Yeah, I knew it very well. I was 18. Well, I was 19,
18
20.
years old. I didn't get what.
And it was cheap as chips.
Oh, I'd have been 18 years old. I was in my 20s before I got there. But I'm telling you now, 18, I'd have been a mess in there. I'm telling you.
It was brilliant. And it's on the doorstep, wasn't it? It was right next to the camp. So I'm going for a walk kind of thing.
To the Rose Garden.
And then you're going through the little things with sheets. Like, all right, mate.
Brilliant. All right. So, let's go to Northern Ireland. Leave Raoul's alone, right? Let's go to Northern Ireland. What was your first tour? Where did you go?
So I went to Fermanagh. That was the first time since the bombs. So we was the first patrolling, which was fine. But the whole time I did any of my island trips, it was boring. It was just sentries, stag on. It wasn't exciting.
So you didn't do close observation platoon or anything like that? You just...
Pardon?
Or cot? You had cot?
No, I never did that.
Never did nothing like that, just straight...
I was just in the sangers.
Bodding it in a sang?
Yeah.
Did you go up the ranks much, did you?
So I did... I came back after one island tour, and in 96 I went for selection. Well, I went for the Acquaint, and then 97 I went on selection.
That's right, the Acquaint.
Yeah, that was
I could never get me around that, because it's like, and guys used to turn up dripping about the Acquaint. Oh. So for people at home who might not know, so before you went on selection, and it was combined selection in our day, you did a thing called an Acquaint if you came from a commando background. And it just sounded honking, didn't it? It just sounded like their excuse to give you
it was
a good old kicking before you went anywhere.
It was probably worse than selection, because the absolute selection, they're kind of grown up. Yeah. Where you're free for them to be beasted. They can do anything to you.
It's not my beat up for P Company. My beat up for P Company was, I did it with the Log Battalions in Infanteer. Do you know what I mean? What do I expect? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so you failed the Acquaint, or did you fail selection?
No, I passed. I went on to selection January 97. Failed on test week. I wasn't good enough, and then I went back.
That's the same selection as me.
January 97.
January 97. That's when I'm on selection. Wow. Yeah.
And then I went back.
Okay.
On the summer.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have, because I failed on the same week. I failed the same. So
wow, okay.
That was it.
So you failed twice?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
I was in Norway for another Norway, and then I got in trouble, and I came back and went to detention quarters.
Okay.
Which was the Navy
equivalent of Colchester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after I came back from selection, I kept on getting in trouble, and I went to Colchester then.
Oh, you went to Coley proper?
Yeah, because then DQs, that got closed down. So it was all the group. So I visited there as well.
How long did you get in there for scrapping?
Yeah, I got 27 days there.
27 days soldier on. See, I got what did I get? I got 28 days in Northern Ireland for fighting soldier on, but they made me do it in Northern Ireland, and they proper thrashed me there. Like, do you know what I mean? It was like free time. They proper, the RPs and the regimental police. Do you know what I mean? Proper got into me, like, do you know what I mean? But in a weird way, I was like, I know some of that. Do you know what I mean? Go on, break me.
Yeah. You can't break me.
Go on, do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
A good friend of mine who's actually part of this now, John, he was in there with me, and they used to make us run with this fire cart like that. And we used to go so fast they couldn't keep up.
Yeah, exactly. And you're beasting them because they can't do it.
So now they're getting fed up. They're going to put him away for half an hour.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they haven't got anyone to keep it going because they're all flipping rubbish.
That's it. Yeah. You've outrun the lot.
You're getting your time down.
Oh dear.
The Monday morning, they pulled us out of the course. We had to go, and that. I've never said this, but I stood in front of the RSM, and he goes, "What the, why?" And I goes, "Oh, he called me a black so and so," and he didn't. This bloke, he didn't at all. I just knocked him out.
One time race card.
I did. And there's like, get back on the course. You're like, fucking, I'm back in. Fucking hell, what do I? I shouldn't have really done that. And,
there you go. You know what I mean? Supposed to be a winner.
But it worked. I stayed on the course.
Genius.
I was flapping a bit,
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
But thankfully, I got the power off it as well, because it got us both off it. So
absolutely, we're both rightly so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Stand by. What's right to happen?
Yeah, brilliant, mate, brilliant. I'd had enough of being in the military.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a civvy. I thought I wanted to be a civvy.
Yeah.
So I did get a job. So the Christmas, my end date was March 31st, but I got the job, or the tick in the box in Christmas, to start in January. And I was going to be, I was a project manager for wind farms.
Okay. Completely
different.
Yeah.
Near to my home, so it was commutable, which was great. And I did that for 2 years. And it didn't satisfy me. COVID hit then, and then they kind of looked at me, and they didn't really give me a reason why, but they kind of moved me on, because I think I was getting paid quite well, and I think my salary was going to get taken and moved, and I got moved on.
Yeah.
I got a call, right, do you want this job? And it was looking after a princess who, a princess in the UK. And I started that even before my gardening leave, so I rolled straight into it. It was guys who I used to work with, and some of your guys.
Yeah. And
it was great. It was back into the tribe.
Back into the fold, exactly. Friends around here.
And I thought, I haven't actually done this before, as in civvy stuff. I was a bit taken back on that, but prior to that, when I was at Poole, I did the PS course.
Okay.
But then I used to go, I went to Hereford to do the course. I was the DS for the Poole guys. So, so I did it from that side. So I knew what to do, and I was happy what I do, but I'd never done it in a civilian place. Yeah, because there are. And it was right at the top. It was royalty straight away. Yeah. So, I went straight in, and it was really enjoyable. I did that for a couple of years. The princess, shall we say, moved me on.
Okay.
I don't actually know why. I never found out why.
No, you probably never will.
And I never will. But I came straight out, and I bounced straight into other things. I was looking after A-list celebrities.
Yeah.
I was bouncing out, and I was having a great time. And then I got the call from a company from your background. Do you want to go to Ukraine? I went to Ukraine for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Which, it felt, and I really enjoyed that. I was dashing around, looking after the media, and things like that. But I left the military because I'd had too much luck in the first place. But I can come in and out here and just get that feeling again.
Just toe in the water.
Yeah. And that's what it was. And I came back and I was like, I'll hang that back up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, I looked after a few more celebrities, and then I got the chance to start my own company with another chap. And since then, we're doing it and getting other people to do the CP kind of work as well. So that's where I am at the moment.